I love Cuphead. When Cuphead released in 2017, it took the gaming world by storm, and rightfully so. With its hand-drawn animation, jazzy soundtrack, and fast-paced, addictive gameplay, it's no wonder why everybody under the sun was playing this game. Another very important factor of this game is its 19 original and unique bosses, and how incredibly difficult they are to beat. Yeah, this game is super hard to beat, especially when first starting out, but lucky for me, this was definitely not my first time. Not even close. Though I haven't played this game in a year, I still definitely love it, and I needed something new to do while doing it. So I decided to beat the game as fast as I could. This is my Cuphead speedrun. So we start in the opening cutscene of the game where we see Cuphead and Mugman winning big at the Devil's Casino. Cuphead gambles their souls away, and the brothers now have to collect soul contracts for the devil. Boom. Easy plot. With the timer officially now started, we meet this guy named Elder Kettle who gives us our first gun to defeat bosses with. We then make our way into the tutorial to get a free coin which we'll need for a shop later. In this speedrun, I'll need to buy 3 things: the lobber, the roundabout, and the pea sugar. With the tutorial done, we can officially go into Inkwell Isle 1. After grabbing 3 coins from this apple dude, we go and do our first run and gun. Run and guns are levels that aren't bosses, but they do give you 5 coins if you can get them all. So we shoot down some enemies, collect 5 coins, jump over the piranha plants, and beat the run and gun. With our 9 coins in hand, we can go and purchase the 2 guns I mentioned earlier, the lobber and the roundabout. And with that, we're ready to take on our first boss, the root pack. First up is the potato. And as this is the first boss in the game, it's very easy. So we get right up in its face, shoot some lobber EXs, and it quickly goes down. Next is the onion, who comes from the floor, so we set up a nice big lobber trap to get a lot of damage in. And once again, we get up right to its face, lobber EXs, I take a hit somehow, and then we kill the onion. Next up was the carrot, and with me being at 1 HP, I was thinking to myself, am I really going to die in the first boss? Because that would not look promising. But with my 100+ hours of experience, we beat the first boss of the speedrun, in good time too. With 5 minutes on the clock now, we make our way to the second boss, Goopy Legrande. Goopy is a very easy boss, and I just got hit right away, but he's a very easy boss who just wants to bounce on you. We beat his first form, and then he gets all big country strong on us, but it really just makes my roundabout easy to hit him. I really like using roundabout on this, because no matter where he goes, the bullets can still come back and hit him. While Goopy is dazed, we get to pound him with 3 lobber EX shots. Goopy then goes into his grave, tries to slam down on us, but we dash at the very last second and pick up another quick boss fight. With Goopy Legrande's soul contract collected, I then made my way to my second and final run and gun I did during this run. You see, to get the pea sugar that I mentioned earlier, you need more coins, and to get more coins, you had to do this next run and gun. I only thought I needed pea sugar because I always play the game with it, and I didn't think I could beat it without it, but I definitely can, and this was just a huge time loss. So I know that time loss was pretty bad, but are you ready for an even worse one? I went ahead and just did a mausoleum. Just straight up did one for a super art. Not only is that a time loss, but doing EXs is 1,000 times better in a speedrun than doing a super. So this was a time loss and it was useless. This was absolutely the lowest point of the entire speedrun. So with that done, we go and get my pea sugar, and then we go and fight our third boss, Ribby and Croaks. Ribby and Croaks are a duo boss fight and attack us by working together. The brown frog attacks us by shooting fireflies from its mouth that slowly move towards you, so we get up close and damage them and the flies. The green one attacks us with a rapid burst of fireballs that we can dodge, and while dodging, we face towards the wall and let the roundabouts come back and deal big damage. The next phase is where the two get on different sides of you, and while the brown one turns into a fan pushing you back, the green one is shooting these orbs that bounce across the screen, and get done with this phase pretty easily. The final phase is where they fuse together and turn into a slot machine. The slot machine fires coins at you until you parry the arm, and then it switches between 3 attacks. And we got the snake, the easiest one. So we jump over all the platforms, use the roundabout to get constant damage, and get past that. Parry it again, and we got the bull. The bull is a little harder attack, making you jump on or under these circles with fire shooting out from them. But you can easily tell where the fire is going to come from, so pay attention a little bit, and then we easily beat the duo. With our third boss down, we're 13 minutes into the speedrun, which isn't very good, but considering I'd made 2 of those big mistakes, it could be worse. But anyways, we're making our way towards our first Airplane boss. Some Cuphead bosses have you fight in an airplane, and Hildeberg's fight is the easiest of the bunch. Just follow her moves for max damage, and then she moves on to her next phase. She turns into a bull and tries to ram into us, but we stay out of the way while using our EX shots very precisely. She then gets out of this phase and is normal for a bit, and then turns into Cupid and fires arrows at us. This phase is the easiest in my opinion. With some good timed EX shots to destroy the stars from the arrows, we easily defeat this phase. After taking a hit to a big ha, coming really close to getting hit by a tornado, but dodge it by using the airplane's shrinking ability, we move on to the next part. This is where she starts tweaking out and then turns into the freaking moon. But after turning into the moon, we use our airplane super art and give her a big boom! After a big boom, she hits us with a flight reacts to start off the phase. This phase is kind of insane, having you dodge 2 different types of UFOs, stars, and once again, the flight reacts. But when she's doing that, it allows our EX shots to get multiple hits and dealing max damage. And soon enough, we collect the second to last soul contract in Inkwell Isle 1. With Hildeberg defeated, it's time for the last boss in Inkwell Isle 1, Cagney Carnation. Cagney's a big flower who screams, dances, then sticks his face out at you. The strat for this fight is really to get close with some angled lobber shots, and then when I'm moving around dodging everything, have the roundabout come back and hit him. He then shoots all these plants in the air, and we can actually negate one of them by using our auto parry. This is how it comes in handy. From here, the fight doesn't get much harder. He shoots carrots, you dodge him. He shoots boomerangs, you dodge him, and then, well, he shoots even more carrots that you dodge. And at this point, we're just waiting for the final phase. And here it is. He goes into the ground and has 3 platforms spawn in. He then begins to wrap 2 of the platforms, forcing you to go to the only one available. This is really the only attack he does in this phase. His main purpose is finding that one platform, shooting him, getting a bunch of damage in, more dodging, and then we defeat the last boss in Inkwell Isle 1. We also defeated him in 57 seconds, which is great for the speedrun. With him down, we get done with Inkwell Isle 1 in 18 minutes. Not the fastest, but I did do a lot of nonsense, so hopefully we pick up the pace in Inkwell Isle 2. Wasting no time, I go into the first boss, Baroness von Bonbon. In the first 3 phases, she can either send out a jawbreaker, a gumball machine, a waffle, a candy corn, or God forbid that damn cupcake. And in the first phase, we got the... oh God. That damn bastard. It's murdered millions. Kill it quick. Go to hell, you damn cupcake. With that done, we set up roundabouts to get max damage as soon as the next phase comes in. And we got the candy corn, who has a weird pattern to follow, but it's nothing too difficult, so we get past them easily. Once again, we set up our roundabouts to absolutely demolish this poor gumball machine. He didn't stand a chance, we killed him so fast. But now it's time for phase 4, and unlike the other 3, this one doesn't change at all. She rides her castle and charges at you, and before she can even throw her head, we get 3 lobber EX shots on her. Then she throws her head, and it follows us around, and we dodge it a few times. A giant peppermint comes out, and we already beat the boss. Wow, that was fast. After that, we go and get bombs for our airplane from this, whatever this guy even is, but the next boss is a genie, who is another airplane boss, but this time we can use bombs that shoot a lot slower but do a lot more damage. He first sends swords at us, but these are very easy to avoid, so we defeat his first phase, no problem. He then has you go through this section where you find his face to shoot at to get through it, and then have to dodge a blade. So it's find the face, dodge the blade, repeat this a bunch of times, and then you're into phase 3. In phase 3, he goes into this mummy type thing and comes out as a red blob, but since we have our 5 cards, it's time to hit the genie with a big boom, killing this phase off very quickly. He then takes a page from our playbook by literally becoming us. In Cuphead, he fires blue bullets from his finger, while this hat flies around and also shoots bullets as well, turning your screen into an absolute bullet hell. But if you really focus and take time with your movements, you can get through no problem. Ignore that I got hit. He then makes himself giant, but before anything can happen, we hit him with a big boom! He has these 3 pyramids that fly around and shoot a 4-way purple beam, but they can only do that if the genie shoots out his white clear beam. I do get hit by this beam, but no worries because we quickly beat it right after getting hit. We are about 23 minutes into the speed run, and we will now take on the next boss, Beppy the Clown. Beppy is a clown, and in his first phase, he gets in his whip and tries to run you over, with the assist of flying ducks in the air. Roundabout is great for this because it allows you not to get too close to him, but still deal heavy damage and take care of the ducks. With Roundabout carrying, we send him flying into his next phase. He now turns himself into a balloon and starts producing these balloon dogs that follow you, and at the same time, the train comes rolling in. We must have did so much damage in the first phase because for some reason, this phase 2 ended faster than you can count to 10. Beppy then comes down on us while aggressively riding and bouncing on us.
What do you mean by that?
So we hit him with some meaty lobbery X's, and this part was easily defeated and so quickly. And for his final act, Beppy turns himself into a mechanism with platforms spinning around. You want to mostly stay on these platforms as Beppy spawns in penguins that throw baseballs at you until the train decimates them. So we dodge everything while still getting hits in and beat this clown in great time. We're now just over 27 minutes into the speed run, and it's time to get into the actual hard part of Cuphead, because we will now take on what is debatably the hardest boss in the entire game, Wally Warbles. In his first phase, Wally shoots out these eggs, which are pretty easy to dodge, but they turn very difficult when they separate into 3 shells. He also has this 3-way gun that isn't very hard, but it still adds more difficulty because it's one more thing you have to worry about. He has these 4 birds that move across the screen, which very much limit your movement. And not to mention, he moves up and down the entire time, so you really are forced to follow his movements while he's still shooting out the eggs at you. He throws a tantrum and has feathers that fly everywhere. It kind of looks difficult. If you just move very minimally, it's not hard at all. We also parry this bird and deliver a big boom, moving us into the next phase. He lets out his snotty bastard kid, and as much as I hate him, this is one of the most fun phases in the fight. He flies around the screen with eggs circling him. These eggs periodically go away and then come back. So you fly around avoiding him while dealing minimal damage, but the big damage comes in when you go inside the circling eggs when they go apart from him. He also has a Glock. We also hit the stupid kid with a big boom! This sends us straight into the final phase. You see, he's on a stretcher with 2 birds to the sides. This limits your moving space so much and makes avoiding the tons of garbage being thrown by Wally and the birds so difficult to dodge, making for some of the tightest dodging spaces in the game. I'm on the brink of death, but I do hit him with some good EXs that deal maximum damage, and with 1 HP, I get out of there alive. I do not feel bad about this. Next up is also one of the hardest bosses in the entire game, the dragon. The dragon starts his phase by shooting out these rings from his eyes, which we can actually parry the last one to charge our super meter. He then puts us in some tricky positions by using his fireballs and his tail at the same time. And hey, I also used my first super of the entire speedrun. I mean, hey, maybe it wasn't pointless and a time waste. But after this phase, he then moves to the left of you and puts himself in the perfect position for some lobber shots. In this phase, he has these fire spirits, shout out to Clash Royale, that jump at you occasionally. Keep shooting and dodging, and we move to his final phase. In this final phase, he grows 2 more heads and shoots fireballs that actually split into 4 fireballs if you accidentally shoot one of them. But I came into phase 3 with 3 hearts. I mean, no way I die here. So yeah, I died, but it's just a minor setback. Never said this was gonna be a deathless run. Oh, and I died again. Okay, this might be a major problem, but 3rd time's the charm, and I finally beat the dragon. And we get done with Inkwell Isle 2 at the 33-minute mark. Only 1 more isle to go. I make my way straight into the first boss, Rumor Bottoms. In the first phase, we set up a roundabout trap that gets huge damage against the bee cop, then switch into our lobber to finish him off in under 10 seconds. Now the queen bee finally steps in. She begins to shoot these pink balls that follow you, and they're also parryable, but we avoid them as she sends out her next attack, which are these pink triangle things that shoot other smaller pink triangles that are also parryable, but just like the circles, easy to dodge. She then drops her head to the floor floor, and as she does that, we hit her with a super on her way down. On the floor, she shoots missiles that go up across the screen. They have a tricky, kind of weird pattern, but once you get used to it, they're easy to avoid. She then begins her preparation to turn into her final phase, where she turns into an airplane. But we actually did so much damage that her last phase didn't even happen. That's the fastest I've ever beaten this boss. I also didn't get hit a single time. With her taken care of, we're 35 minutes into the speedrun, and we go on to take Captain Brinybeard. I don't think my loadout is the best for this fight, so I don't expect it to beat it that fast. The fight has this barrel that stays on top of the screen for the entire fight. Brinybeard shoots this gun that shoots out free parry balls, as I like to say, that I use to rack up my cards, letting me use another super. Later in the fight, the ship starts to shoot cannonballs at me, making for an even more cluttered screen. He then calls in these piranhas that we have to shoot down while sneaking in some damage on Brinybeard. And I do actually get hit before he calls in a shark. But we make it to the final phase where the ship takes over and becomes absolutely massive. And we hit him with a super right away. The ship fires these fireballs with a very weird pattern and then lets out a super of his own. But with a little more damage, we take out the ship and beat the boss. With him done, we're 38 minutes into the speedrun. We go to take on another pretty hard boss, Calamaria. Calamaria is a mermaid, I'm pretty sure, and attacks by using a variety of different sea creatures, and the ghost in her mouth. In this first phase, she combines these various sea creature attacks, making them very challenging to avoid. We get done with this phase and move on to her second, where she basically turns into Medusa. Her eyes glow at you when you turn into stone, and at the same time, these eels shoot out these bullets that try and hit you when you are stoned. But if you position yourself correctly before getting stoned, you can actually avoid these by standing still and doing nothing. After this phase, her head then comes off her body and we chase her down into this cavern, where she then turns us into stone and tries to have us run into these spike walls or hit the skulls that her eels shoot out. But we play this one very smart and eventually take her down. We get back to some easier boss fights when we take on Sally stage play. Her first phase is very easy. She drops down on you, does a spin kick, throws a fan, but all of it is very slow and predictable, so we get done with this pretty fast. Her second phase is what I would consider the hardest of the fight. On top of everything in her first phase, she adds cars that drop down on you and babies that throw their milk at the window at you. These two added attacks make for a pretty tricky phase. When done with that, she turns into a god, I think, and attacks with meteors, waves, and lightning. But we sit under her and deal damage with the lava and get done with this one. But with one heart, I'm hoping I don't die in one of the easiest bosses. But I do eventually pull through and get her soul contract. We're now 43 minutes into the run and we're down to our last 5 bosses. But now we take on what many consider the hardest boss in all of Cuphead, the robot. In the first phase, the robot has 3 different parts: the antenna, the heart, and the body, each of them having a different attack, and each of them you have to take out. But when you take out one of them, that same part does a new attack. Once you kill all 3 parts, he reveals his heart, which we give a big boom! But we do beat this phase and send his head flying. He flies around for a little bit before going to his last phase. His last phase has the doctor show himself as he begins to throw out a barrage of diamond shards, and has you go up and over walls and parry some of the shards. What's difficult is really how long this phase lasts and really test how long players can go for. But I can go forever, baby, and eventually we beat this boss. After that, we head over to what should be an easy boss, Warner Warman. And I say should be because we actually did die, which is pretty embarrassing to die on this easy boss. But anyway, Warner's a rat, I think, who moves around on a can on wheels and attacks by throwing a bunch of crap at you and charging and shooting what looks like tomato bombs. For this phase, we mainly use the roundabout and the lobber when we can move in close. His next phase is the one that killed me, where he moves up and down and shoots fire while poker chips go in and out of the screen. I don't know why this one killed me when we easily beat it right here. The last phase is when this cat comes and eats him and begins to attack with falling wood in his paws. With this phase, we get right in his big hitbox face and fire lobber shots for max damage. He sends out ghosts, but they can't really do much of anything, and we finish this one off without getting hit. Why couldn't I just done that the first time? So remember how I got the pea sugar? Well, it's about to show its best use in the game right now against Phantom Express. Normally in this fight, you have to jump way high in the air to parry the cart and move it, but with the pea sugar, you move it without the worry of going high in the air and getting hit. This also allows you to move the cart very quickly quickly and easily. There's also these pumpkins that drop parry candy that move the cart. Okay, I just used that first phase as explanation. It's fine, you saw what happened. Anyways, in the second phase, this skeleton has big meaty claws that slam on the floor. So we use pea sugar to avoid them and move the cart to wherever his head is. We then move further down the train and find these things that I don't really know what they are, but we hit one of them with a super that instantly takes him out. For the other one, we follow using roundabout shots and take him down. In the final phase, the train chases you down and has you open the engine by parrying the tail. This then allows you to damage him, but also allows him to throw fireballs and bones out at you. But with a little more damage, and of course pea sugar, we beat this train, who is also the last boss of Inkwell Isle 3. Meaning we're down to the last 2 bosses. 52 minutes into the speedrun and we enter Inkwell Hell and take on King Dice. King Dice is honestly my favorite boss fight in the game and my favorite character. Well, hold up. Let me explain what you're actually looking at. So King Dice lays out this board and your goal is to go from start to finish. You move on the board by pairing the dice, which has numbers from 1 to 3. But here's the catch. All of the red numbers on the board are actually different mini boss fights that you have to take on. I've actually played this game so many times that I remember every boss that's behind each number. Now, you may notice the hearts that are on some of these red spaces. These hearts mean that if you land on that space, you get to fight a mini boss, but you also get an extra heart. Okay, I think that's everything. Let's get into it. Starting off, I see that the 1 space has a heart, so I'm going to automatically get a 1 with the automatic parry. So the number 1 space has you fight these 3 drinks that are actually really annoying. I already got hit too. We killed the most annoying drink, and then soon enough, the next, and then the final drink. We get set back and ready to roll again. I roll a 3 to get on the safe space, not wanting to fight another boss, obviously. There's a heart on the 6 space, so that's the one I'm gonna go for. This one is actually one of the harder mini bosses. You see, the trees block out your view the entire time, and one of the horsemen also jump out at you. He also shoots these presents that shoot out shoe horses that are also kind of hard to dodge, especially with the horsemen limiting your movement space. And I actually get hit twice in a row. Like I was saying, this horse is no joke. But we do stay alive and it's not looking great. Now I have a decision. Let me break it down. I'm at 1 HP, meaning that 1 hit and I'm done. And some of you might say, but Ray 12, roll a 3 and get the heart on the 9 space. You're also the best YouTuber and I will subscribe right now. Now, many of you may be saying this, but normally you would be correct. But the 9 space is home of one of the longest fights in the entire game. Not just mini boss, the entire game. So I don't want to do that because this is a speedrun after all. But I had an idea. The 8 space has the easiest boss, not just in terms of mini bosses, but the easiest boss in the entire game. So I trusted my skill in not getting hit and rolled a 2. So here it is, the 8 ball. He attacks with circles and sending out, I don't know what the actual name is, but they're squares. It's ridiculously easy, like I said, and we survive on 1 HP. But that was just part 1. We now have to roll 2 2s in a row to hit a safe spot and then make sure we don't hit a start over. There's 1, and we hit the next one and start the King Dice fight. He attacks with cards that you must parry over and over again. We build it up and hit him with a super right away. He does his card thing over and over again, but remember, 1 hit, 1 missed parry, and I'm dead. A few more parries and more EX shots is just enough to get past the king and move on to the last fight in the game. 59 minutes into the speedrun and we take on the final boss of Cuphead, the devil himself. The devil attacks by transforming into different animals and using magic. He first turns into the dragon, where we go to the end of the screens with roundabout so it'll come back and hit him. We'll use roundabout most of the time because it can reach him easily, and then use the lobber for up close EX shots. We jump over his goat attack and then parry the pink bubble immediately with pea sugar. The bubbles aren't a threat and we jump over the goat attack again. After this phase, we then move deeper into hell. In this phase, his hitbox is in his giant eyes, so we mainly get close with the lobber. He attacks with axes, poker chips, and bombs. But we move past this, and he sends out these big purple demons. But we shoot a lobber EX at one of them that instantly takes him down for a bit, allowing us to get easy damage in. He comes back and boom, he's gone again. We do get hit after parrying this pink skull, but it's no big deal, because we're entering the last phase. In this phase, the devil very much anticlimactically cries as we dodge the poker chips and parry the tears, and end the speed run at the 1 hour 1 minute and 1 second mark. This was my Cuphead speedrun. Cuphead is just one of my favorite games. Like I said, I haven't played it in a year, but no matter how long I don't play it, it will always hit when I eventually play it again. I mean, we're just scratching the surface with this speedrun. There's so many things I didn't cover, like the different mechanics, the guns, the supers, the charms, the running guns, the hidden boss fights, the entire expert mode, the entire DLC. I've gotten to the point where I've actually S-ranked every single boss in the game, which, if you didn't know, is when you beat a boss on expert mode, the hardest difficulty, without getting hit, using your 60x shots, pairing 3 items, and doing it fast enough. I've also P-ranked every running gun, and I've gotten every single achievement. I don't know if this is making me sound more like a Cuphead god or a loser. The best thing with this game is that you can just feel the passion they put in with the music, the art style, just everything they do in this game. You feel the passion, and that's what I love most about it. The glazing is going crazy. Too crazy, in fact, where I need to stop right now. This has been my Cuphead speedrun, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
By chance they came on Devil's Game, and gosh, they paid the price. Paid the price. And now they're fighting for their lives on a mission fraught with dread. And if they proceed but don't succeed, well, the devil will take their